Okay, today for language, we are going to be doing page 96. And we're going to be learning some more words. We're going to learn the present, the past, and the one that needs the helping word. Now on your paper it says present, past, and needs a helping verb, right? What are the helping verbs? Am, is, are, was, were, have, has, had. Alright, and we learned that some of them go with the singular subject and some of them go with the plural subject. Eyes up here, please. Alright, we are having a quiz on this on Friday. So you need to remember the little hints I gave you about which ones need to have a helping verb. Alright, which ones need the helping verb? What was the hints I gave you? And please don't read those words to me. I want to know the hints I gave you.
They have like a short U.
Very good. A short U sound or let somebody else do the other one. What was the other hint, Owen?
They have an N at the end?
Yes, either an N sound or an N at the end. Like yesterday we did gone. Or no, not yesterday because yesterday was a test. Monday we did gone. Gone doesn't end in an N, ends in an E, but you don't hear the E. You hear the N sound, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if it doesn't end in an N or an N sound, then you might see the one that has a short U sound. Like we did song and wrong. Before that we did grown and flown and gone. Those are the ones that need a helper. So that when you're looking at the words, you need to pick the one. If there's a helping verb, am, is, are, was, were, have, has, have, then you pick the one that has a short U sound or ends in N. Alright, so on the quiz on Friday, you're going to have to look for those helpers. What are those helpers again? Am, is, are, was, were, have, has, and if there's a helper, you pick the one that either ends in an N sound or has a short U sound, like wrong or song. Alright, the other thing you're going to have to do is you're going to divide the sentence, and then you're going to underline the verb phrase, and you're going to underline the subject. So we're going to do that to this sentence right here. So read this sentence up here. Logan has a rocket. A rocket. Are you guys with me? I don't know what you guys just read, but that was not what you read.
Logan does not have a rocket.
What were you reading? Because this is what I want you reading.
Who, me?
Alright, so let's all read this sentence together.
Logan has seen a rocket.
So where am I going to divide that sentence? Alex, where am I going to divide it? Yes, at Logan. Alright, so this is the what part of the sentence?
Subject.
Excuse me, I don't know what you're doing, but if you're doing your paper, you're not supposed to be doing your paper. You're supposed to be looking up here.
No, but I found mistakes on the last paper.
Okay, right now you just pay attention up here no matter what. Because you shouldn't be looking at yesterday's paper or Monday's paper. Alright, so what part of this sentence is this? Predicate. I didn't ask you to read this part of the sentence. I said, what part of the sentence is it? So this is the subject part of the sentence. Grace, Taylor, pay attention. This is the predicate part of the sentence. Subject part of the sentence, predicate part of the sentence. So looking at the predicate part, we're going to find the verb. Pay attention. Has seen a rocket. What is the verb?
Has seen.
Has seen. Notice there is a helping verb. Has. The action is seen. Seeing is something you can do, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so has is your helping verb. Seen is the action verb. So that is called a what? What do you call this?
Verb phrase.
Very good. A verb phrase. This is a verb phrase. The helping verb and the action verb together is called a verb phrase. So you're going to have to underline your verb phrase 2 times. Then you're going to go back to the subject part of the sentence. And this one is pretty easy because there's only one word over there, right? But you ask yourself, who has seen? And the answer is
Logan.
So you know Logan is the subject, besides the fact that it's the only word over there. But is it always going to be the only word over there?
No.
No,
Could
and
be 10.
it could be 2 people. It could be Bill and Logan. And then it wouldn't be has seen, it would be have seen, because has goes with the singular subject. And if it was a plural subject like Bill and Logan, then you would have to have seen, because have goes with a plural subject. But you don't have to worry about that part right now. You just have to underline it. Okay? So let's look at our papers today. And if you look at the orange section, no, I'm gonna come to you. If you look at the orange section, let's read. First it says, a helping verb helps the main verb show the action. And read those helping verbs again. Am, is, are, was, were, have, has, had. All right? And then read underneath that. It says, the helping verb and action verb together are called a verb phrase. And read their sample sentence. We have seen the baby rabbits. Notice they used have. Remember, have goes with plural. We is plural because we is always talking about a group, right? So that's why they use have. We have seen. Notice they underline have seen twice because have seen is your verb phrase. All right, now let's everybody look at the little white box and let's look at our new verbs for this week because these are the ones that change the spelling. So for present, we have throw. In the past, you threw. And the one that needs a helper would be thrown because it ends in a N. Thank you, Olivia. Where are the rest of you? It ends in an N. Let's look at the next one. The next one is, the present is break. The past, you broke. And the one that needs a helper is broken. Like I have broken my pencil. All right? Next we have, the present is begin. In the past, you began. And the one that needs a helper is begun. Now look, begin ends in an N. Began ends in an N. Oh my word, what are we going to do? Well, you have to pick the one that has a short U sound. The one with a short U sound, begun, is the one that needs a helper. You guys understand? If they all end in N, you have to pick the one that has a short U sound. Last one. In the present, you see. In the past, you saw. And the one that needs a helper is seen. And that's the one that we have seen today on the board. We use seen on the board and they use seen on your paper as your example sentence. All right. Let me open your eraser. I'll give it to you. All right, read number 1 out loud with me. The ball game had begun already. Did they already underline the helpers for you? In each sentence, underline the correct. The helping verbs are underlined for you. Although yesterday and Monday they goofed, didn't they?
Begun.
Okay, so the helping verb is had, and you're going to pick begun. Both of, somebody said began. They both end in an N, so you need to pick the one with the short U sound. Begun.
No, began. Not begun.
Okay, you're being very confusing by saying that. It is begun. Stop telling me what it's not. It is the one with the short U sound, okay? So you're making it confusing. All right, number 2. Max has broken the home run record for his team. Broken with an N. Very good. The one with the N needs the helper. They already have the helper has broken. All right, the next one says, we saw or seen the panda twins at the Toronto Zoo. Saw. Because there's not a helper, right? No helper, so you pick saw.
Oh, we already had this one.
Because there's not a helper. I'm going to underline the helpers for you.
We already did this one.
Number 4, our class had begun studying about pandas last week.
Begun.
Begun because it has a helper. Very good. And the begun is the short U version. Began and begun both end in an N, so you go with the one with the short U. And if you are circling these, what should you have been doing? Underlining twice. So if you're circling them, you're doing it wrong. You're supposed to be underlining it twice. So underline these twice. That's what you're supposed to be doing. All right, number 5. Samantha broken her pencil during arithmetic class.
Broke.
I meant broke. There's no helper. So you don't pick the one with the N because there's not a helper there.
I meant broke.
By the way, they are helping you guys out a little bit by underlining these helpers for you. In the old book, we had to find our helpers ourselves.
That'd be nice.
All right, so let's go to number 6. Number 6, all of the trash was threw or thrown away when lunch was over? Thrown. Why?
Because there's the helper.
Yeah, the helper was. So you're gonna pick the one with the ends and an N. Was thrown. Yes.
What's the difference in spelling between like a king's throne and like throw?
A king's throne is Throne.
Oh.
Okay. All right, number 7. 5 elk were saw or seen near the row of trees. Seen. Why?
Because there's a helper.
Yes, they have the helper were, and so you pick the one with an N. Were seen. Number 8. When Dad saw or seen the elk, he took a picture.
Saw.
Saw. Why?
Because of
Because no helper. No helper, so you pick saw. Alright, now you're going to pick from that box, you're going to pick an appropriate word for the sentence. So raise your hand on these. Read it with me. Dad had blanked the bags of leaves into the back of his truck. Raise your hand if you want to do this one. Tess? Thrown. 2 reasons. You see a helper? Yes, please underline the helper had. Underline it twice. And then you just write thrown on the line. You don't have to underline thrown twice because you're having to write it in. But had is the helper. That's how you know to pick thrown, the one that ends in an N. All right, read number 2 with me. Last week, Elijah blanked the blind Kerakin at the zoo. All right, let's read that one again. Last week, Elijah blanked the blind cave Kerakin at the zoo. That must be some kind of creature at the zoo.
Broken.
Is there a helper?
Yeah, last week.
Last week is not a helper. Is the helpers Amazar was, were, had, has, have last week? No, the helpers are and is, are, was, were, had, has, have. Those are your helping verbs. So is there a helper? No, so you need to pick the word saw. Last week tells you past, in the past. Last week means it happened in the past. So you're picking the one that tells you it happened in the past, which is saw. Last week, Elijah saw. It's not about having another word with the subject. It's about am, is, are, was, were, had, has, have. Pay attention, okay? All right, number 3, everyone. These small fish are completely blind and cannot blank anything. Olivia. See. Very good. There is a word up there that you might think, well, that's a helper. Well, guess what? Am, is, are, was, were also has another job, and it's a linking verb where it links these fish to blind. They are blind fish. So it links fish to blind. It links the adjective blind to fish. They're blind fish. So that's a linking verb. But that is where the R is. The R, down where we need to put the word is, it says, and cannot see. Well, that's not, okay? And plus it's present, okay? This is present, so you're using the word see. All right, number 4. Charlie has blank his arm and must wear a cast until it heals. Do you see a helper?
Yes.
What is it?
Has.
So what is the word we need to use?
Broken.
Broken, very good. Because of the N. The helper tells you to pick the one with the N, and broken works well here. Broken his arm. Number 5. Mrs. Harris has blank to memorize John 14. All right, so do you see a helper, Owen?
It has and begun.
Very good. Has, and because of has, you're going to use begun, the one that has a short U sound. You don't want begin or began, you want begun because of the helper tells you that you pick the one with a short U sound. Has begun. And make sure you're underlining the helper has. You should have underlined your helper every time you had a helper. So at number 1, you should have underlined had. Number 4, you should have underlined has. And number 5, you should have underlined has 2 times. All right, this next section is practice for what we're going to do on the quiz on Friday. What we just did just now is also practice for what we're going to do on the quiz on Friday. Okay, all you have to do is find the helpers, or maybe they already have them underlined. Maybe I should go look. Does the quiz have the helpers already underlined? No, it does not. You're going to have to find the helpers. So you better get those helpers memorized. All right, so you're going to have to find the helper and underline it twice, and then pick the right word. And if it doesn't have a helper, pick the word that doesn't need a helper. Okay? All right, in this section, you're going to divide it between the subject and the predicate. And then you're going to underline the verb phrase, or just the verb if it only has a verb 2 times, and then underline the subject. Number 1 says, the corn has grown tall. So raise your hand, where are we going to divide it? Tess. After corn. So everybody divided after corn. And let's look at the predicate part of the sentence. It says, has grown tall. So what is the verb or the verb phrase? Landon?
Has grown.
There we go. We're going to go ahead and say the whole verb phrase. Has tells you that you're going to use grown. Well, they've already done it for you, so you don't have to pick that. You just have to underline has grown. You underline the helper has and the verb, action verb grown 2 times. Neatly, 2 times, remember? Because now we're going to go back to the subject part. What has grown?
Corn.
Corn. So underline corn 1 time. And this is exactly what you'll do on the quiz on Friday. This is exactly what you'll do on the quiz. Go down to number 2. Read number 2 with me. He has gone to the grocery store. Where are we going to divide it after?
He.
After he. Just after he. You know what you just did? You just took the helper away from the verb. When you said after he has, doesn't has need to go with the verb? Because it's a verb, it's a helping verb, okay? So just remember that. Don't separate it from its verb. So after he, and what's the predicate part of the sentence? Has gone to the grocery store. So what's our verb phrase, Zeke?
Has gone.
Very good. Has gone. Has is our helping verb, and gone is the action verb. So underline has gone twice. Both of them. And then you ask yourself a little question. Who has gone? Olivia Yeager, who has gone? He. So that's your subject. Does that make more sense now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, read number 3. The icicles have fallen onto the ground. Where are we going to divide that one? Brennan. After icicles. Very good. And looking at the predicate part, have fallen onto the ground. Alex, what is the verb phrase? Very good. Have fallen. Underline it 2 times. Have and fallen. And then you ask yourself that little question. What is fallen? What is fallen, Maya?
I keep saying it.
Stop talking out. Very good. Icicles. Underline icicles once. That's your subject. All right, one more. The large branch was broken. Where are we going to divide that one? Eric.
The large branch.
So after branch. Very good. After the word branch, divide it. And then look at the predicate part of the sentence. It says was broken. So Adam, what is the verb phrase?
Was broken.
Was broken. This time, the predicate part of the sentence, that's all there is to it. It's just the verb phrase. Was broken. So underline was broken twice. And what was broken?
The
No.
large branch.
No,
Large branch.
no.
Branch.
Just branch.
Oh.
Does not matter whether it was large or small or skinny or fat. It just is a branch. Okay, so just branch. All right, very good.